Hi, I'm Brad. I'm here to introduce WhiteLightning. So WhiteLightning is a song by George Jones about moonshining. And WhiteLightning.ai is a tool that takes huge data from LLMs and condenses it into tiny classifiers. Let me show you what I mean. So the developers of WhiteLightning and myself sometimes do things like this with LLMs. We ask, is this spam? And give it some spam. Of course the message is spam. I got it from my text messages today. But in order to find out that this is spam, I had to send my data to OpenAI, I had to pay an API fee, and I had to use a huge NVIDIA chip. And that was the problem we tried to solve. So LLMs are great, and they can classify things, but they can also do stuff like this. I can give it the same spam message, and it can generate lookalike spam for me. And with that lookalike spam, I can generate a tiny classifier. And that's what WhiteLightning does. So in one command, we use an LLM to generate synthetic data, high quality synthetic data that you wouldn't otherwise have, and we fit a tiny model that runs everywhere. Let me show you. So here, running in my browser, locally, I have our spam classifier that we made in advance. And boom, it's spam. Of course it's spam. But this time, I didn't pay anything for inference. I ran this locally. My data was private. We think this is a game changer. To make sure anybody can run it, we did a couple things. First, we're testing inference in every language. So once you build a WhiteLightning classifier, you can run it in any language you like. If a language isn't supported here, we're happy to add it. Swift, Python, JavaScript, Java, Dart, C++, Rust, whatever you like. The other thing we think is important is that it runs on any processor. So you shouldn't need a huge NVIDIA chip in order to run WhiteLightning. For us, that means Arduino, tiny microcontrollers, Raspberry Pis. We haven't tested every board under the sun, but we're confident that if our models fit in memory, they run in C, C++, they should work. If they don't, please join our Discord, ask questions. We're happy to help. We also think that WhiteLightning is for everybody. So if you're an indie developer, if you're making games, all of a sudden with WhiteLightning, you can do a choose your own adventure. You can classify all sorts of elves and orcs and whatever you like. If you want to make calendar tools that intelligently classify people's appointments, you can do that as an indie developer. If you're in the enterprise, if you have financial data that you need to classify privately, you can do it. If you're in a warehouse and you have sensor data you want to classify, you can do it. What's important for us is that WhiteLightning runs on any processor in any language for any task. So that's it. Check us out on GitHub, star us, build your model, share it on Discord. We're so excited to see what you build. We'll see you soon.